Well, good morning and welcome to the Art of Fire. We're going to the beach today. We have vacation themed, and just on our Facebook Live video a little bit later, you'll see a lot more demonstrations. But for right now, we're going to be working on a piece that is reminiscent of the beach. So welcome to the Art of Fire Glassblowing Studio. I'm Bruce. I'll be doing the camera work and the narration. So let's go to the store today. Okay, so. Well, I've told everybody welcome to the beach. So what you got for us today?
It's a mystery. It's a surprise.
A surprise, okay.
No, so there's actually, and I meant to find the name of it, but there's actually a really famous Japanese painting of waves, and you can really see kind of the crest of the waves with the white kind of foaming. So we're going to kind of recreate that.
Exciting.
Yeah.
So what general shape are you going to go for?
So we're just going to make, just a nice classic cylinder just to show off the coloring and the patterns. So here we got some aqua color, the foam, the foam on the
Oh,
wave.
yeah,
Over here we have
Oh, even more.
good old-fashioned
Okay.
baking soda.
All right.
So what's the baking soda for, Bruce?
Well, that'll help put the bubbles in it. But you still haven't explained to everybody.
So when you're cooking with baking soda, what happens, right? It gases off. And we actually use that same principle in glass. We actually heat up, we put the baking soda on the surface, we heat it up, it actually gases off. And if you put color on top of that baking soda, it gases off through the color effect we're going for. Bruce has some pieces on the table. While we're getting set up, why don't we show those pieces?
All right, we'll go take a look at that. So if you watched a few weeks ago when we did some pieces where we put bubbles like this, so we can put the baking soda on a layer of glass, for instance this teal piece that's right in front of you, and we put the baking soda on the first gather of glass, and then we gather over that with more clear. And then when the baking soda goes through that off-gassing process like Josh was describing, that creates here has the same type of effect with a variety of colors in it. Some blue, a little green, and teal up in there. And this beautiful little bowl back here, which has the white sea foam effect to it, had two layers of the initial color gatherings, then a clear gathering over that to create the bubbles from the off-gassing, then another layer of the baking soda, which was immediately covered with some white. So those bubbles actually kind of burst through on the surface. So that's the kind of effect. See some more of those types of things later. We're going to do a Facebook Live presentation at 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time in the U.S. I saw Tommy Dunn is with us from the U.K. So it'll be later in the evening for you to listen watching today. So Josh has picked up his base color there, and it looks like it's probably like an opaque goldish color, and he's going to use that. What's the texture of the glass outside where the bubbles are? It's a little bit rough if we've got the bubbles right on the surface. Now, that would be the case with that white one I showed you just a moment ago.
Yeah, I would say rough. It's kind of texture.
It's not sharp. It's not at all dangerous or anything, but it's certainly not smooth as glass. So it is glass, but it's got little bumps in it. Let's call it that. It's got bumps, and so you get a little bit more of that effect if you don't cover the baking soda with a thick layer of clear. With a thick layer of clear, the outside surface is much smoother. With a very thin coating of clear, or as Josh is going to do this morning, a thin coating of white directly over the baking soda that makes the difference. So here he is at the barber. Oh, and we got Hodgepodge Woodworks. Is that Stevie? And we got Bridget. Back from last week's matchmaking attempts. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so Josh now is shaping up the core of color there. And what is that, like a gold brown?
They actually call it an iris opaque gold or yellow.
Okay.
And what's neat about it is, depending on the heat, you'll get kind of transitions where it gets kind of a darker yellowish gold and then get lighter. So I kind of using that for the sky.
Okay. All right, Robert, good to have you with us. All right, so now he's taking a dip in the furnace with the gold color there. All clear glass in that furnace. We have about 450 pounds of molten glass in there. And we use that so that we can have a variety of colors. We only melt the clear glass. Were we to melt blue, then we wouldn't be making a gold piece today. So by using the clear glass and then pieces of color, whether it's in the form of the solid glass, like that gold piece you saw Josh with, or whether it's in the form of the frit, which is basically just granular glass that you see on the marbling table here. So he's used the cherry wood block to kind of chill the glass, give it a little bit of shaping, stabilize it. What you need? Oh, it was probably annoyed by the sound of those bowls vibrating. We've got a little fan that sits down there and blows on him, and underneath it on the stand, the bowls are stacked up, and so you might actually be able to see this white brick vibrating. You can see it rocking back and forth again. You never know what we're going to show you at the Art of Fire. Those are completely unrelated to glass blowing, but if the master glass blower is annoyed by the sound, we need to change it. Okay, so he's trapped a little air in the blowpipe, blew into it and covered the mouthpiece with his finger. The air has no place to go but out into the glass. It certainly isn't going to break through that stainless steel, and it's not going to knock his bony finger off the end of the pipe. So now that he's let that cool and expand a little bit, it's cooling a little bit so that he doesn't collapse it on this gather, he'll pick up another gather of glass. And again, if you're just joining us, our theme today, both for this and the Facebook Live presentation, is going to be vacation at the beach, that sort of thing. But Josh has chosen to give us an interpretation of a Japanese painting which celebrates the oceans and the waves. So he's going to make a vase form and kind of a cylindrical shape, and with that he's going to try to recreate the feeling of the waves at the ocean. Right now he's using the wet newspaper to shape the glass. You can see he dips that in water. It's about 7 or 8 full sheets of newsprint, folded up very tight. And now he's going to start collecting color. He's putting blue on what will be the bottom of the vase. And now he's got this aquamarine color that he's rolling back and forth through there. So he'll be picking up these colors to give him this color pattern for the piece. Anyway, with the newspaper, about 7 or 8 sheets of newsprint folded up to about 7 or 8 inches square, and then soaked in water. It's a perfect insulator and allows the glass blower to actually grab the glass and shape it by hand. So again, with the colors, you can see how the frit sticks to the hot glass, and immediately he's back to the glory hole for some reheating. Good morning, Joanna. Welcome aboard. Robert, I just saw the message flash across the screen about craft fair. Is there another woodworking show coming up soon?
This Saturday.
This Saturday. Are we participating?
Or is it Friday?
I think it's Saturday.
Friday or Saturday?
That's what Robert said.
Okay, fair enough.
Are we doing that?
We are.
Nobody told me. A day late and a dollar short. That's my nickname. Okay, so he's gone through these colors several times, and the opaque glass that he's got in the center of that is going to form a nice background for these transparent colors. So when he's done, the light will transmit through the transparent colors, actually get reflected back a little bit off of the opaque to your eye. So it gives it a really nice look. Again, with a slightly larger cherry wood block. Those blocks are carved or shaped when they're green, and they're kept in water always. We don't want those blocks cracking or splitting, so we keep them wet all the time, and we can get several years' life out of them. They're used for shaping the glass, and when the hot glass contacts the wet wood, it forms a bed of steam, and it rolls on that. So now he's over for a little bit of the baking soda right at the top, and this is going right over the color, and now it's back over and get the baking soda covered by white. Now as soon as he goes into the heat, the bubbles will start forming. It started a little bit already because the heat of the gather that he has already has started the bubbling process. He'll take a few more swipes through the white here just to get plenty of coverage. And now it's a matter of applying heat to make that baking soda off gas and create the bubbles. And there we go. You can see them starting to form.
Okay, so I think that's pretty good for our waves, the white caps on the waves.
Okay.
Now we're going to actually change the surface a little bit. We can kind of get that wave feel.
You can see from the bright orange glow how hot the glass got. Now he's using a hooking tool to create a line to break the glass upward and over a little bit. You'll come down here, you can see the way he curls that over at the end. He's got a little excess there he just knocks off. And he'll do that a couple more times. So as he grabs that little metal tool with a hook in it, he'll pull the glass up toward the pipe, and then as he comes up, he'll curl it over to the side so that it looks a little like a wave cresting. So here he goes, he'll let it fall, then he'll flip it, pulls that over some, pulls that one up and over. Now you get a really good idea of how those wave crests will look. So he's pulled some of that blue up through the aquamarine and into the white. He's using a marver right now to smooth the glass a little bit where he had raked it. And you need the marver, you want that blue pushed aside?
Just that little spot behind.
Okay. So the raking action caused a couple of indentations in the glass. The use of the metal marvering table allowed him to smooth that back out. Once all his decorative elements are done, then he's able to just go ahead with the creation of the piece. So here we go with another wave form. See it go up, up, and then he'll come back and curl it over a little. And there's the crest of the wave forming. Now, if some of that gets pulled up stands free of the glass, he'll just take that off. Otherwise, he can just roll it and smooth it in, melt it right in, and it's the full crest of the wave. If you've got any questions, go ahead and write some comments. Glad to hear from you, and glad that you're with us today. If you have an opportunity and want to see some more glass blowing, in just about 15 minutes, we'll be starting on Facebook Live at our page there, Art of Fire Contemporary Glass Studio, and we'll be doing about a 2-hour show there centered on things from the beach. All right, so he's got 4 wave crests formed. Now he's going to do the final little bit of touch up on the last 2, bringing them over. And you can see the indentation that's created. The glass is constantly in motion. That's what makes this craft so tricky. And now what he'll do is heat that up quite a bit and then smooth out the sides to get it exactly where he wants. Rolling on the marver, that's what we call the metal tabletop, that smooths the glass out on its surface. He can also change the angle to cool the end of the piece, and now he's going to blow a little more air into it. The constant manipulation changes the shape of the glass. It can also cause the bubble or inner core to shrink back. If we do a lot of work on it, it can retract a little bit, so every once in a while we sometimes have to blow a little more air in it. And right now he's got things shaped up nicely. Most of our vessels we form by creating a spherical shape with what we call a jack line in it. So first he's going to use the block to shape it, smooth it, keeps it nice and compact. Same thing with the newspaper, that helps there. And now he blows, and he's not trapping the air, he's just what we call free blowing. Just blowing into the glass, causing it to expand, getting toward that spherical shape, and you can see the wave crests in that glass now. You can't see all the colors because of the heat, but they'll show up later. So he's got the initial elements of the sphere going. He's going to have to put a jack line or nick line in it. And the reason we call it a jack line is the tool that's used is called jacks. It's a pair of metal blades hinged together, and it allows us to create a point of separation from the blowing iron. So he's getting it to stabilize now because of the heat in it. You can see how it's wobbling around due to the neck. All he has to do is keep it under control, wait a little bit, and then he can start his jack line. So rather than try and force the issue, when the glass was moving around a lot, he simply paused and comes back to it, and now it's completely centered and under control. That crease that he's put in there, or that jack line, will be the point of separation when he gets ready to transfer this to another iron. When we make pieces like this, we create the lower half to 2/3 of the vessel first, then we transfer it to what's called a punty or pontal. It's another iron that allows us to open the upper reaches. So the portion of this vessel that's away from the pipe, the outboard end, is the bottom of the base. He's spinning it now to elongate it. The centrifugal force elongates the piece into more of a cylinder, and then he can put a little air in for the diameter he wants, and then he'll come down.
Hey, Don, can you do a cheater, please? Yeah.
Now you're starting to be able to see the blue in the bottom and the green above, both backed up by a little bit of the opaque gold. Todd right now is preparing the punty or pontal, so he's getting a little bit of glass. Actually, he's going to prepare what we call a cheater. And it's going to be a little bit of glass on an iron, and Josh is going to put it right in the center of the bottom. And this will help when he takes the piece off, keeps it from pulling any of the glue away, and also ensures that the bottom stays together. So here we go. He'll place it, turn the iron away from himself, let it burn off, and now he just flattens that little button right onto the bottom. And he'll use a small paddle to flatten it further so the base will sit up straight on a table. Once he gets that done, we'll hit a putty. Maybe not. What do we, a foot? What's up now? Are we getting blue on this?
No, we're doing a putty.
Oh, just regular putty. I saw the bowl over there. I thought maybe we had another color coming into use.
It is
Okay.
actually. It is
Okay.
coming.
So now Todd has the putty prepared. He presents it to Josh, who will place it into that button, which is on the center of the bottom. And if the pipe moves a little up and down as it rolls, Josh will correct that so that it sits in the center. Both irons are moving. Just press on it. Now he has to make sure that that's solid on there and not still hot and wobbling around. He'll put a little bit of water in the neckline he made, and then a vibration on the pipe, and it breaks free. And there we go. So we've got actually about the lower 3/4 of this piece completed. And Josh now will work on the upper part. So that neckline, jack line there, was cold enough to fracture. It takes a few moments to reheat. So he's going to work on getting that hot. And it'll bring it back to the bench, and it'll be creating the rest of this cylindrical base. Again, that glass was cold enough to fracture. It takes a little while to reheat and soften up, but when he does bring it back to the bench, you'll be able to see where the heat's located. It'll be mostly in the top 3 or 4 inches of the piece. You can see that he's got the bottom half of the piece pretty much out of the glory hole. He reheats it every once in a while just to get a little additional heat into it. We call that a flash heat. He's going to put a little bit of the color onto the lip simply by tapping it into the bowl with color print. Back into the dark blue at the top, and there's the ring right around the top. I kind of figured you set that bowl out there for a reason.
Right?
Yeah. And that was what we could call the poor man's lip wrap, where you can do it alone. And all he had to do was heat the lip, tap it into the bottom there of the bowl, and get that blue color on it. He's looking to clear the lights above and tap it into the blue. Get a nice solid blue coating on there, and there we go. Beautiful. So if you joined us a little bit late, Josh is making a cylindrical base, and it's his interpretation of what he described as a Japanese painting of ocean waves. So, yep, tomorrow it'll be out of the annealer and we'll have pictures online. Still heating the upper reaches of the vessel. I'll give him a little bit of a paddle here on the lip. Hope you can still see it. There we go. Okay. Now the wave crest is showing up beautifully. You want parchofis?
Yeah, let's do parchofis.
All right, let me find a pair here. The Parchofis are jacks that basically have wooden blades. They steal a lot less heat from the glass. They mark the glass less chance of scarring the glass. So he'll use that. And I'll give him a paddle here. Okay, there you see those beautiful sea colors in there. The blue, the green. He's got that gold background. Really nice. So another reheat, a little final shaping, and he can use paper to do that, or he can use the Parchofis. Actually, he can switch tools and do both, or not at the same time. Actually, switch the tools. And the colors are really marvelous. This is showing up beautifully.
Yeah, one more
Great.
time.
All right.
One more time. I'm going to clean up the line a little bit. That should be pretty good.
Okay. So when he's talking about cleaning up the line, he's looking at the straightness of the side of the vessel. So he can use that newspaper or his jacks. He chooses the jacks first. There we go, a nice beautiful line and beautiful color. Great waves. The white is really delicate in that. You'll see some great pictures tomorrow, but rather than being overwhelmed, it's just really beautiful with a nice white line on it. All right, so now he's going to put a little bit of water on the punky joint, and he's going to go back over to what we call the knockoff box, because that's where we knock the glass off. It's going to put a little bit of water on there, and then with a tap of the pipe, it comes free, and now he'll take the insulated gloves. Yeah, the one with a hole in it.
That's right.
Yeah, and into the annealer it goes, and you'll see it tomorrow. So, thanks for joining us. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, folks.
Let's hear it for Josh, folks. Come on, give him some thumbs up. Give him a little feedback there. Oh, yeah, we got hand claps and very pretty.
Excellent. We'll see you in like, what, 2 minutes?
Yeah, in just a couple minutes. Join us over on Facebook Live, and we'll see you there. Bye-bye.